Objective for this lesson is I can decompose and compose fractions greater than 1 to express them in various forms. And so what that means is I talked to you in the previous lesson about that we're going to be getting into mixed numbers. And so we're going to start talking about mixed numbers along with fractions and something new, improper fractions. So I think we should start by reviewing fractions for just a second before we get into the other terms. So if you remember from the very beginning of the unit, a fraction is part of a whole. Fractions are always less than 1. So for instance, 3/4, right? That number is less than 1. In other words, if you had 4 pieces of pizza in a box and you ate 3, you had 3/4 of the pizza, right? So fractions are less than 1. The numerator is always smaller than the denominator. We also learned that fractions can be equal to 1 whole. So if I have 4 pieces of pizza in the box and I eat all 4, I ate 1 whole pizza, right? So going up above 1, you can have a number like this, 5/4. But that's not a fraction because a fraction is less than 1. But now what we did is we went above 1 whole, and that is what's called an improper fraction. Improper means bad or not right. So basically this is a fraction that's not normal, it's not right, because we know fractions are less than 1. But it is possible to eat 5/4 of a pizza. So I'll kind of explain that, and then I'll get us into what a mixed number is again. So let's say, I'm going to make a square pizza just because it's easier. So let's say you have a pizza and you're hungry and you eat 3 pieces, right? You ate 3/4. But now you have another piece, so you ate the whole pizza. But wait, you're still hungry. So now you order a second pizza and you eat another piece, but now you're finally full. So what you did was both pizzas are divided or cut into the same number of pieces, which is 4. And you ate 5 of them. So you technically ate 5/4. Right? That's an improper fraction. But we don't ever leave fractions improper. All right? We always make them into mixed numbers. And remember, a mixed number is a mixture of a whole number and a fraction right next to it. So if you go back to our pizza example, it's really easy to see with pictures how much pizza I ate, right? Because I ate 1 whole pizza and I ate 1/4 of the other one, right? So 1 and 1/4 is how much pizza I ate, but it's the same as 5/4. Okay? So we're going to be working with mixed numbers and improper fractions, and what I want to show you to do is how to make an improper fraction into a mixed number and how to make a mixed number into an improper fraction. So let's go, let me show you, how about, here's an improper fraction, right? 6/5. So there's 2 ways you can make this into a mixed number because you can't leave fractions improper. So if you remember that when the numerator and denominator are the same number, it equals 1 whole, what you can automatically do is, right, denominator is not going to change, pull out 1 whole from 6/5, right? So 1 whole will be 5/5. If you take 5/5 away from 6/5, you're basically subtracting, you end up with 1/5, right? So 6/5 is equal to 5/5, plus 1/5, isn't it? So all you have to do to write your mixed number is you make that 5/5 into a 1, because you can't leave 5/5 as 5/5. You have to write it as one whole, and then you just put it together with your fraction, and now you've made your improper. What did I just do? Sorry about the small screen. There we go. I fixed it. You just made your improper fraction into a mixed number, right? So I'm going to leave that on the screen, and I want you to try one. I give you similar numbers. I won't make it too difficult. So let's say you have 4/3. How would you make that into a mixed number? Okay, so remember, denominator's not going to change. So I'm going to take out the 1 whole from that, so that's 3/3. That would leave me 1/3, and you can double check, right? Because 1/3 plus 3/3 is 4/3. So you just have to make that 3/3 into a 1 and put your 1/3 next to it. So you just made an improper fraction into a mixed number. As always, if this is confusing at all, don't worry, we're going to have tons of practice with this. You guys are going to be pros at this. All right. Now going the other way. Let's say you have a mixed number and you want to make it into an improper fraction. And you might be wondering, well, why would I ever want to do that? Well, when we get into adding mixed numbers and multiplying and all that, it makes it way easier to make them into improper fractions to solve. So you'll understand that later, but you do need to know how to make a mixed number into an improper fraction. So here's what you do. There's a couple things you can do. One way is you know that, well, first thing I would do is take out the fraction part. So I'm going to write my 2/3 over here. Okay. Now I have 3. If you were to take 1 whole off of that 3, right, you know the denominator would be the same. So what will my numerator be there to equal 1? Right, it would be 3. So I know that's 3/3 is equal to 1. All right, so all I have to do is take another 3/3, because think about it, I need 3 of those. So there's another 3/3, isn't that 2? There's another 3/3. Now I've represented 3 using fractions. And now to get my improper fraction, I just do adding, right? And when I add fractions with the same denominator, my denominator does not change. And I just add my numerators, and you get 11/3. Okay, if that was confusing, go back and rewatch this before you try this problem I'm going to give you. So if you had, let's see, you have 2 and 1/4. See if you can make 2 and 1/4 into an improper fraction. All right, so if you do what I did above, you take the fraction, put it over there, and now you want to write 2 as adding 2 fractions. So remember, the denominator doesn't change. So 4/4 is equal to 1, and another 4/4 is another 1. So that's 1, 2, and then your 4th. So if I add my fractions up now, remember the denominator stays the same. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. All right. So again, as always with something brand new, if it's confusing, rewatch the video, look up other how to convert mixed numbers and improper fractions on Google. Contact me, please, and ask me questions. I say this at every video, but if you're ever stuck or confused, I really want you to ask me for help. That's what I'm here for, to help you. So don't get frustrated. This is new. Take your time, and eventually